Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, make sure we live. Okay, let's see. The fuck? Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, so shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutation and much love to the Akim out there pushing out his word in truth and sincerity. It's Brother Ash from Great Millstone, Tampa, back with another lesson. Lord's will is going to be quick. Just going to go into some more news on the RFID system being set up. Because again, this whole global system is being changed as we speak, and it's gonna trickle down to the people at the grocery stores very soon. So let's get into it. Lord's will is edifying to the hopeful elect, and so here, well, first and foremost, let's get Revelation 13. And if you're tired of listening to it, oh well. Revelation 13, verse 16, get straight to the point. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark which we have identified already as the implantable payment device, whether you want to call it RFID, NFC, okay, Neuralink. It's an implantable device that's going to allow you to access this new system, chiefly buy and sell, right? It says, right, because they're already moving towards this digital ID to access your banks. It's not for no reason, right? They're not doing these moves for no reason. So ultimately, they got to have the system set up in place completely before they tell people they got to take an implant to access the system, right? And again, it's already being built. It's starting from which I'm going to show you as we've been showing you in these previous episodes. It's trickling on down from institutions, central banks, the banks, the Bank of Japan, these world economies. They're already even different, different institutions, companies like American Airlines. What's the other one? There was another one, but there's plenty and plenty of different uh, billion, if not trillion-dollar businesses already converting over to tokenization and testing out Ripple. Okay, and if you don't know where Ripple is, must be the first episode you've seen. And they're even advertising this in broad daylight. Because what does Ripple use? Right, Ripple uses XRP Ledger, which is the blockchain, and this is in Las Vegas. They're advertising this publicly. They're not even hiding it. They're not hiding it from people. People are just too lazy to look up what's going on. Look at this. This is in Vegas. What does it say? Raise the standard. That's what it says. Watch. Raise the standard. This is right across the street from the Wynn. Raise the standard. And what's the next thing it says? If you're watching this video and you don't know what that symbol is, you need to go back a few episodes. Let's see, because this is the first time I'm seeing this. I shouldn't even have to tell you what it is. Raise the standard. The standard has changed. The whole new system is already here and people don't know it yet. All the things that you thought was to make your life easier was for total control, really. So let's finish this and then we'll go into that video. Revelation 13 and 16 again. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which again is the implantable payment device, implantable technology that this devil has, okay? Period. In the sense that it's going to allow you access to this new system that they have created already. It's already live. Now they just have to integrate everybody into it. And stay tuned. I'm gonna let Chat GPT tell you. It says, "In that no man might buy or sell," so you're gonna be cut off from access to money, right? Because how can you buy? How can you sell things if you don't have no access to money? Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So let's go to this here. This is on MSN. How payments will become autonomous, invisible, and powered by crypto and AI. So see if I can fast forward. Not fast forward, but I guess not. We'll just let it play. We probably won't watch the whole thing, but we'll see.
Look at the stablecoin ecosystem. A lot has been using payments and trading pairs in crypto. If you're back here in 5 or 10 years on this episode, and I ask you the same question, where do you think, what we think will be the biggest usage of stablecoins down the line?
For me, I think stablecoin. Thank you.
Remember, they already passed the Genius Act last year. Okay, concerning stable coins. So this is already in the books, and now they're about to pass the Clarity Act, which is going to accelerate things even more. And people have no idea what the Clarity Act is. Most people don't, anyway.
For having me back. Thanks.
Again, this is the reason I'm bringing all this out is because this is leading to the mark of the beast. Again, it's starting with the big industries, the big institutions, the countries, the nations. They're already using it as we speak. What did Iran say? They're willing to take the yuan. What they didn't say was the digital yuan and other cryptocurrencies. It's already begun. It's already begun. The petrodollar's done. The UAE, matter of fact, let's bring that out. The UAE just left OPEC, which is going to be the demise of the petrodollar because other nations are going to leave. Okay. It's over. The new system is here. Let's see. UAE, OPEC. Let's get the latest news from it. The UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates, exit from OPEC marks a derailment for major oil producing nations. Who's next, right? Let's see if I can find the one that said that. Who's next? Okay. Well, I have to go because it was a while. It was a couple hours ago. Matter of fact, let's go. Let's just see if I can find it. There's one that was about shit. It gotta be. This was earlier this morning when I send it out to brothers. So it's gotta be. Let's see. Nah, let's go to page 5. Salakia. It was a good article because I read through it. It pretty much said the heading. Oh no! Well, this is a good one. I accidentally clicked on it. The UAE is leaving the OPEC oil cartel, which is headed by, if I'm not mistaken, Saudi Arabia, which we know who heads them, right? So it's supposed to be coming on May 1st. So fill your gas tanks up before Monday. That's for sure. Okay, but let's see. So pretty much the article I was looking for was one that said the UAE left the OPEC. Who's next? Let's see. This was hours ago though, so I'm not gonna be able to find it. But what is OPEC? If the United Arab Emirates, right? Whatever. They left the OPEC. What is OPEC? The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries is an intergovernmental organization. Okay, what is it? Usually they give you the AI response. Okay, here we go. Yeah. OPEC, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, is a permanent. I guess not. I guess it wasn't permanent. Intergovernmental organization founded in 1960 to coordinate petroleum policies among member countries aiming to manage oil supply and stabilize global prices. Right, and what have they been using? They've been using the petrodollar. But guess who pulled out? The UAE. And if you don't know what the UAE is, that's where Dubai is. All right, that's where Abu Dhabi is, the capital. Okay, so we're gonna get back. We'll get back to this later because I got something on the chat. See what the significance of them leaving OPEC is gonna mean. And where does Ripple fit into all of this?
Henry. I think the future of stablecoins is really now focusing on just the different emerging markets, but in agentic payments. So we're really bullish on agentic.
Yeah, JTech payments. You're gonna have a AI agent. You're not gonna be. People aren't gonna be in charge of their funds anymore. People need to look into what these terms are. JTech agents, AI agents, in other words, right? Your life is about to be governed by autonomous AI, right? Because that's what AI. Most people think AI stands for artificial intelligence. No, no, no. This AI that they're using against you, that's gonna monitor your money and Planeteer and Giddy and all of them other software or that they need all these databases for. That's autonomous intelligence, not artificial. There's a big difference.
I think the future of stablecoins is really now focusing on just the different emerging markets, but in agentic payments. So we're really bullish on agentic payments using different AIs. We just did a live payment on AI a couple of days ago at the Binance Blockchain Week. So we did it on BNB, and that was just it. It was well accepted.
BNB's
Everybody
Binance.
was really excited about that.
Can you explain for the benefit of our audience what is agentic payments and what is the role of these AI actors in it?
So agentic payment is basically no human touch.
See?
Do you believe AI is going to...
There is no need for people working at the bank no more. There is literally no reason for branches of banks where you go to an ATM machine or you go to the teller. Them motherfuckers about to lose their jobs, and it could be in a matter of weeks. There's no need for them. It's all gonna be up to AI. But he's gonna explain it.
play a big part in our future, or even now
We'll
in
go
the
back
present?
10 seconds.
I think a lot of people does.
Actors in it.
So agentic payment is basically no human touch. Do you believe AI is going to play a big part in our future, or even now in the present? I think a lot of people does. So your AI agent, everybody's going to have one, will actually make payments to other AI agents. So you don't have to monitor it. You can sit back, like autonomous vehicles in the future. It's going to be its own wallet. It's essentially an AI payment vehicle.
See, you won't have control of your money. That's hence the stable coins and or the CBDCs, whatever they want to call it, right? It's programmable money. And this is on CNBC. This is Main Street Media right here, admitting it on national television. Or this is international television because you see the Arabic, but nonetheless it's CNBC.
So once it needs to get charged, you don't have to go to your credit card and, oh, okay, let's...
Total control. The system's already in place. The crisis have been created. And it's only going to get worse. They're going to tighten the squeeze up. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe what's today? Wednesday, Thursday? Maybe Monday. Maybe Friday, next Friday. Who knows? All I know is it's coming quickly. These things are already happening. The system's already changing. The financial reset has already begun. Let's go.
OTP and my car needs to get charged. It basically drives into the charging bay, charge up, and boom.
Yeah, this is a thing. They think they're gonna go into this utopian society with everything's just gonna run like smooth as butter. No, things are about to get a lot more worse here in the world. Right, rationing has already begun around the world. Things are getting worse and worse as the days go on. Oh, there's a ceasefire. They're planning on bombing the shit out of people here in a few days. Right? Let me see this second address. Yeah, fucking ceasefire. Yeah, ceasefire, alright. See, yeah. You keep believing that. And one day you're gonna wake up and your bank's gonna tell you your money is no good. This is second Exodus 8 and verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them, that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So many miseries, bad times is coming. All right. It's gonna get a lot worse, and it's quickly happening as we speak. Again, the systems are being changed as we speak. The transition, or they don't have to replace the new system. They just have to integrate the new system into it, and that's what they have been doing for over a decade, and none of it, no, most people didn't even know it. Hell, I'm just finding out the intricacies of it, the details, and the, the what was going on behind the scenes. This shit is crazy. What they've been doing behind the scenes, but it's happening regardless whether you know it or not.
Back to work. So
And probably can also look at new financing solutions as well for the car while it's doing that as well. There's obviously a lot of features there. But what is obviously with the recent experiment you guys did? What is the biggest challenge you find right now with agentic payments? What is the biggest bottleneck that we have that is basically blocking the rise of that?
I think the challenge is really how do we make sure other agents are compliant, or how.
All right, so we're not gonna finish that whole video. You can check it out if you want. How payments will become autonomous, invisible, and powered by crypto and AI. We've pretty much covered that over the episodes. Let me bring this out though, real quick. We'll get to the chat. Let's listen to what this lady has to say here. Listen closely. This is where this is headed. Total control.
Preserve food and health freedoms. The minute they get financial transaction control, they will delete.
Financial transaction control. Doesn't that sound familiar? Right? Financial transaction control. Let's say it again. Financial transaction control. And that no man might buy or sell.
All of it. They will negate all of it. They will reverse all of it.
Hold on.
All the great work that you have done in health and all the great work you have done in food to preserve food and health freedoms, the minute they get financial transaction control, they will delete all of it. They will negate all of it. They will reverse all of it. Financial control and controlling the financial transaction train tracks is the meta control that they will use to control food and health.
Yep.
So I don't care what.
Everything is going to be controlled via the financial system, hence the buying and selling. And ultimately, right now, what they're about to do is they're going to start unrolling the digital IDs and the biometrics, so on and so forth, and change everything over to this new system. And then ultimately, eventually, very closely, it's going to require you to have an implantable payment device. This is not science fiction. This is real life. This is prophecy. This is biblical prophecy, what we see unfolding while these people think it's digital IDs and CBDCs. That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Karen or Kareen, whatever the hell her name is.
Transaction train tracks is the meta control that they will use to control food and health. So I don't care what you're doing in the food and health area. If these guys get 100% digital system with a digital ID and programmable money.
And again, we've already gone into it through I don't know how many episodes at this point. It's already linked. It's all one and the same. The digital implant, the implantable payment device will be the key or the access to this new system that they're building right in front of you. They're gonna give you a glimpse of it. They're gonna allow you access to it for a time, right? And they're gonna give you free money. UBI, Universal Basic Income. They're gonna give you free money so you get enticed into joining this new system that they have built. This new digital frontier, new digital financial system that's the new world order.
Guess what? They're going to dictate, you don't get your vaccine this month, they're going to turn off your money. You don't transgender your kid, they're going to turn off your money. Wow. They're going to dictate all of your health and food policies to you. So we did a wonderful
and that's all what digital ID is tied to. It's all tied to your medicals, right? Or the medical industry, right? Which say you got prescription drugs or whatever. It's all that's why they got all these data centers being built. They're tracking everything. Even Trump said he would build in all those data centers to make a database on all American citizens. They know your every move. Hell, you give it to them every day through your phone.
Ancillary on called pharma food.
We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. But these I don't even know what they call them. Woody and Buzz Lightyear over here. The Toy Story has Woody and has Buzz over here. But nonetheless, they don't know what's going on. They know Salakia. They know they know more than most people. I give them that. Because they know about the digital IDs and CBDCs, but they don't know where this is leading ultimately. They had no clue. Hell, they gonna end up, succumbing and going and folding up and taking that implantable payment device.
Important salary on called pharma food, on lab grown meat and
Lab-grown
essentially
meat.
artificial food.
Fucking lab-grown meat. You think you eating chicken and steak and yuck. It's the lab-grown meat. We need a deliverer ASAP.
And when I read it, I couldn't understand how do they think they're going to market this, and that's when I realized, oh, programmable money is how they're going to.
Programmable money, CBDC stablecoins, and they're not gonna have to. What she say? What's the term she used?
Programmable money is how they're going to market this, and that's when I realized lab grown meat and essentially artificial food. And when I read it, I couldn't understand how do they think they're going to market this.
How are they gonna market it? Well, when you're starving to death, you'll be more than willing to eat lab-grown meat. These Americans, you talking about Americans that can't go 3 hours without eating a meal? Oh, they gonna more than willing eat that lab-grown meat. So let's get this real quick. This is the PACE Act that nobody knows about, really. The PACE Act, the Payments Access and Consumer Efficiency Act, introduced in April 2026, this month. When did you see that on the news? Where did you see that on social media? This is probably the first time you heard about it. It says introduced in April 2026 by representatives of Young King and Sam Lizardo, aims to modernize U.S. payments by allowing qualified non-bank financial institutions, fintech / crypto, to access Federal Reserve rails directly. People have no idea what's coming. The Federal Reserve might be a thing of the past very soon. And I'm going to show you why later here in a bit. And again, this is from the .gov websites. This isn't, no, this is happening. This is happening. It was introduced, right? It hasn't been passed, but it seeks to lower costs, increase speed, enforce one-to-one reserves, and establish federal supervision for these firms. And if you see what's going on right now with the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell, he been beefing with Trump, right? Hell, they even opened up an investigation against Jerome Powell. The DOJ opened up an investigation on him, which they just stopped it, right? But nonetheless, now they want this new guy in. But even what's his name? The new we've mentioned him before. The new guy that's about to be the chair of the Federal Reserve. I forgot his name. It's irrelevant. But even though the current the chair of the Federal Reserve, he said, "Listen, yeah, I might not be the chair no more, but I'm still gonna be on the board. So he's not going nowhere." So remember when Trump was being investigated by the FBI, most people forgot about all that shit. How they indicted him. They had him. They remember they got the mugshot of him and all of that. And what happened? He got canceled by a lot of banks. So this could very well be leading why they're about to pass this PACE Act. So the banks, it's going to be the non-bank financial institutions. They're going to have access to the Federal Reserve rails. So this has been in the works for years. Key aspects of 2026 PACE Act HR 2900: direct access grants qualified fintechs or financial technologies or something like that. I forgot what it's complete stands for. It says, and digital asset firms such as Ripple. Remember, I just showed you they advertising Ripple or XRP, right? Because that's what Ripple deals with on Las Vegas Strip, and they did it in Times Square. It says, and digital asset firms. Hey, I have a never mind. Access to Fed ACH, right? And Fed Now, which I mentioned that in previous episodes. How Ripple has integrated into Fed Now. Consumer protection cards 1-to-1 backend, which is what where the stable coins come in. Well, guess what? Ripple has a stable coin. It's called RLUSD. The goal, right? Let me just get to the point, and then we'll move on. Goal: reduce dependency on legacy bank, which means the old bank, intermediaries, reducing fees and increasing transaction speeds. That's where the blockchains come in. And there's one specifically that has been created since 2012 to be a solution for the problem that we're seeing right now with this crisis in the Middle East with the oil, right? So let's go back here. This is where we ended last time. No, Salakia. Yeah, this is the last episode. We ended off here. I'll just read the final simple takeaway, and then we'll continue. It says, final simple takeaway. Because again, we're looking deep into these things, man. We're on the watchtower. We see these things coming from miles away. Because the Lord put it in our spirit to warn you. Let's see that. Get them. I'll just go. Salakia. Because yeah, Ezekiel 3:17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. We've already identified what the mark of the beast is. Now I'm just simply showing you how it's already begun. This whole system, the mark of the beast system, is already unraveling as we speak. So I'm just showing you this to solidify that we are right about on the implantable payment device, aka the RFID or the NFC implant, right? Which is one and the same. RFID is radio frequency identification. NFC is near field communication. It's the same shit. RFID was the first version of it. It was one-way communication. NFC is two-way communication. That's the only difference. It's the same technology, just increased or further developed, so to say. I'll read that again. Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. I'm just giving you a warning from Yahweh Bashim outside. And I'm showing you, through different articles and different information, and even using their own technology to show you that this is here. The system is changing as we speak. The reset has begun. And these crises in the Middle East is helping catalyze it, or in other words, speed things up. So we'll go back to this. This is where we ended off last episode. So I just read the final simple takeaway that we finished off on. The article matters because it shows banks are making real digital money, and XRP could be the thing that helps all those different types of money work together. Hence the bridge, right? That's what's gonna make the world's transactions work. As things are being defragmented, right? The economy is being defragmented, and people, the countries don't want to use the petrodollar, clearly. But what they can't trust everybody else's digital currency. Every country is making their own digital currency, so there has to be a bridge. There has to be something to convert it all, and that's the XRP ledger, the blockchain, which Ripple has been at the behest of, which we'll get to that again. So I asked ChatGPT, how does the PACE Act fit into this? Well, we just read, right? Payments, Access, and Consumer Efficiency Act, where it's going to give access to non-bank financial institutions such as Ripple. They're going to allow them to access Federal Reserve rails directly. So when I first said this, it completely did not know what the fuck I was talking about. It thought I was talking about property assess clean energy. No. So I had to specify it because, you know, chat be trying to lie to you. So I said, this is the PACE Act. I had to tell chat, right? The Payments Access and Consumer Efficiency PACE Act, HR 7360. I said, or it said, got it. Payments Access and Consumer Efficiency Act. Now we can place it correctly into everything we've been building. Simple explanation, 8th grade style first, right? So we're going to make this very simple so that an 8th grader could understand. Think of the financial system like this. Banks are the gatekeepers. Ooh, what's that? Keepers. Let's get that real quick. Keepers. What's that? Sirach? No, not Sirach. Ecclesiastes. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the ground cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. Yeah, the gatekeepers. Yeah, that's the economists or the banks, right? This is where we're headed. Economic collapse. But they already have a solution. The solution was already created before the crisis came. So it says payment networks equals roads. People/business equals the drivers. Sometimes the gatekeepers. The keepers. It says sometimes the gatekeepers don't let everyone use the roads easily. Right, because... And that's who's in charge right now. Because your money could be frozen right now. And what you gonna do about it? So this is about to go on to a whole nother level of control. What the PACE Act tries to do, it's about fair access to payment systems, making sure more companies can connect to banking/payment networks, move money efficiently. Now connect it to Ripple, XRP, everything we've discussed. And now I'm going to add the chip, how the chip's going to tie into all this after this. It lowers barriers. This is the key. If companies, including fintechs, right? Fintechs, including fintechs, crypto firms. Didn't Trump say he wanted to be the crypto capital of the world? Payment providers get better access to banking rails. What banking rail? The banking rails of the Federal Reserve and globally. And who's doing that? Ripple. It says then it's easier to plug into systems like FedNow. Ripple's already plugged into it. Connect to global payment networks. This shit is already happening. The system is being changed as we speak. Every day they're upgrading the system to the point where they're going to be able to pull the plug and say you either with the new system or you ain't. Why that matters for Ripple? Ripple's whole strategy is connect banks plus payment systems plus digital assets, including RWAs, which are real world assets like gold, silver, oil. Everything is about to be tokenized and moved on blockchain, all right, or the ledgers. And guess what? It doesn't matter if they back the digital yuan by gold, or they back the rupee, or the ruble, or or whatever U.S. currencies, digital currency they're gonna call it. It doesn't matter what it's backed by. It's still gonna have to move on the ledger. So it doesn't matter what the fuck they back it by. The money, the gold, everything's still gonna be tokenized and moved on these ledgers, the blockchains. Total control, in other words, and that's what the countries are using. So how about the people that can't even pay their rent? You know, total control. They say so. If laws like PACE make access easier, reduce gatekeeping, Ripple can integrate faster, onboard more institutions. How this connects to XRPL, the ledger, the blockchain. PACE doesn't mention XRP directly. Yeah, not directly. Of course not. They're not going to tell you what they're doing. How stupid would that be? Would you do that? Think about it. If you was in charge, would you tell people what you're doing to upgrade the system? Oh, that would make you a fucking idiot. We know Esau's a fucking moron, but he come on, man. He ain't get this far by telling you the truth. It says, but it helps the environment where banks plus fintechs can use alternative rails, experiment with blockchain settlements, and that's what they're already doing. It's not they're gonna do it or experiment with it. They've already tested it. It's already been approved worldwide. But again, most people don't know this because they don't care. Well, how the fuck does that affect their life? They trying to put gas in their car and buy some milk for the little baby crying at home. It says which can include XRPL as a backend settlement option. Tie it to your global scenario that we've been talking about through these previous videos or episodes on the MOTB. In the world you've been building, the world I built, the world that's happening, the world of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai built. War, which is happening, fragmentation, need for faster payments. And that's what, out of Iran's mouth. They said they need fast payments. If you want to pay with a cryptocurrency, it has to be approved within seconds. I didn't say that. That's what they said. Digital systems, right? Matter of fact, let's get it. Like we making this shit up, please. We just doing our due diligence. Iran crypto payments. Let's see. Iran actively uses cryptocurrency to bypass international sanctions, settle cross-border trade, and demand tolls for ship passage through the Strait of Hormuz, with the IRGC heavily involved in these transactions. So they're already doing it. Let's see this. Hold on, because it obviously didn't say it in minutes. Or seconds, really. It should be seconds, because that's what cryptos are doing. Well, certain ones anyway. As of April 2026, Iran requires ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz to pay a $1 per barrel oil toll in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or stablecoins, which within seconds to minutes to avoid sanctions. I don't even got to keep reading. I ain't making this shit up. Need for faster payments. Digital systems rising. Digital ID. Digital this, digital that. Smart this, smart that. You're in the matrix, you don't even know it. You need systems that can connect easily. Pace helps by opening access, reducing friction, allowing more participants into the system. So they're disguising this as it's going to help even though there's war, it's going to help the world continue the commerce. Yeah, until it trickles down to the people that are that are at the behest of these countries adopting this technology. Where it fits in the full stack from everything we discussed. Front, people use digital wallets, and again, we've already gone to it previous episodes. How are you going to have access to digital wallets? You're going to need an implantable. Hold on, so you can see it. You're going to need implantable payment technology / device to access your digital wallet. So that's where it starts. That's on the front end. So that's why I'm saying I'm bringing out this information, because it's going to trickle down to the very commoner on the street trying to get something to eat. Middle, ISO 222 messaging, right? That's fair. Yes, I'm not going to go into it again. Back end, FedNow banks, the ledgers, their blockchains. Pace sits here. It helps more players plug into the system. So the PACE Act is going to catalyze this new system. It's going to advance it, speed it up. I remember the Clarity Act is going to get passed very soon. Can't tell you when, but it's going to get passed soon. Trump's already said, what the fuck y'all doing? He's bitching at the bank. So why y'all holding this up, man? It's and now we get more and more as the days go on, we get more and more crises to justify we need this to pass, right? They might just throw it in with other bills, or maybe a shooting or something, let's say, right? Hypothetically, they just throw it in there with that bill, right? Or other reforms or whatever. And then boom, they just pass it, and then nobody knows nothing until they wake up one morning, right? And most people won't even know the difference. That's the crazy part. Most people won't even know anything changed. That's how smooth this transition is gonna be. Most people won't know nothing changed until they get told they got to take a implantable device to access the new system. That's when they gonna realize things change. Most people won't realize until they told they got to take an implant. But I'm telling you, it's changing. It's already changing. Uh, what it does not. I don't care what it doesn't do. Blunt takeaway paste is not a big switch. It's a door opener. Final one liner, the PACE Act helps by making it easier for companies to access and use payment systems, which indirectly supports the kind of connected multi-rail financial world where Ripple and XRPL could be used. So let me pull this up on my tablet here. I'll end off on this. Okay, this is just information, man. We just using ChatGPT against ESO's own system, so that we can show you, even if you don't believe us, a lot of people use ChatGPT or different AI models to ask it questions about stupid shit. But we're gonna ask some questions about some deep shit. Some things you gotta think about, so to say. So this is what I asked Ripple here. Or not Ripple. It was about Ripple, but this is Chat. What the hell? Let's lock it. Okay, here it is right here. Give me a second. I'll put it up on the tablet here in a second. This is I said this. Okay, so we just read through all the information with the PACE Act and the Federal Reserve and what's going on and with Ripple and all that. So I said to ChatGPT here, I said in what hypothetical situation could Ripple replace the Federal Reserve here in America? And again, Ripple has already got the green light to become a bank. I believe it's the OCC gave them the green light. It says that's a pretty big hypothetical for Ripple or any private company. But wait a minute, the PACE Act already gave them the green light, or is being introduced anyway, to allow these non-bank financial institutions / fintech / crypto to access Federal Reserve rails directly, which we already know Ripple's tied to. We're Fed now, okay? So it says you need a radical transformation of the entire monetary system, and that's what we see being played out. And again, this is on the chat. It says you need broad government acceptance, full legal recognition. That's where these the Clarity Act and the PACE Act are coming in. Genesis Act. Full legal recognition and a complete overhaul of how monetary policy is conducted. Well, when the petrodollar is finished, they're gonna remember. Trump keeps saying we got to become the crypto capital of the world. Why keep saying that? Why did he say it in the first place? Because they know the dollar is finished. The petrodollar is done, right? But America needs to try to maintain global dominance. And guess what? Ripple is stationed out of America. There's only one crypto company in America, and it's Ripple. Matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's see if I can do the voice. How many crypto countries? No country. What the fuck? Just type it. How companies are there based in America? Pretty sure it's only no, related. I'm talking about actually established here. Hold on. Man, they might be related, based in. Hold on, let's see. In service prior based in the United States was. Nah, that's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. You gotta word it a certain way. Damn, I looked it up earlier. I can't remember what I typed in though. That'll come back to me, Lord's will. why. Oh, hold on. That's why I do that. Okay. It says so. It's a major player with a large active community. J.P. Morgan coin. Man, I can't remember what I looked up earlier. It wasn't a quick Google search though. Took me down a rabbit hole. I forgot what I asked, but nonetheless, it's a major player, right? Network, active network. While Ripple uses XRP, competitors like. Okay, I don't remember what I asked it. Look at that. Over 300 financial institutions globally use RippleNet, including some U.S. banks like PNC banks that have tested this technology. Many fintechs and traditional banks are exploring or using blockchain for remittances, meaning Ripple faces significant competition. No, it doesn't. Come on, bro. They're integrating into everything. They're not trying to be competition. They're integrating everything. Whatever. So let's go back to this though, because again, this is all happening whether it's Ripple or not. You know, you got plenty of blockchains, but they seem, from my research, they seem to be the one ahead of the curve, so to say. So let's go back to the chat. It said essentially you need a huge political and societal shift, and that's what we're watching it, right? The the Egyptians against Egyptians, the world war wars and rumors of wars, right? This war with Iran, which we're gonna see how this unfolds here in the next couple of days. It's not Ezekiel. I meant Isaiah. It's a lot. Yep, Isaiah 19. That is the what it say? Huge political and societal shift. And Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. We see that happening currently in America. So I said, but is it possible? You know what? Let me skip down. Let me skip down, because I asked about the Clarity Act. Okay, yeah. I say here, right here. I said, okay, how will the Clarity Act, if passed in the coming weeks, affect this? If the Clarity Act passes, it would bring much clearer rules to how digital assets are classified and regulated. It would define some tokens as commodities and digital assets, others as securities. Yeah, so that's what the Clarity Act is really all about. If who's gonna be the oversight of it, the CFTC or the SEC? It says, and set new regulation and disclosure rules for platforms and issuers. So I said, okay, so this is where I introduced what I mentioned earlier about the UAE. So I said, let's add in this scenario what's going on in the Middle East. What the? Okay, here we go. It says, let's add. This is what I said. It's a lot, okay, man. This tablet is bugging out. Let's add into this scenario what's going on in the Middle East. Let's say that the Strait of Hormuz is completely shut down, and so is the Red Sea, right? Which is what the Houthis can do that. The Strait of Al-Bab-Med, some shit like that. But they could close down the Red Sea as they have done before. How will this accelerate? How will this accelerate this process if the petrodollar is done away with globally? And let's take into account that the UAE just left OPEC. That's what I said. The UAE just left OPEC, but it's gonna take effect in May 1st. So what, Friday? It'll take effect. So this is what chat says in return. It says, exactly. So if the Strait of Hormuz the fuck, man? This shit is bugging out, bro. This tablet is bugging out. So it says exactly. So if the Strait of Hormuz, this shit is crazy. Let me try this. Salakia. Even okay, here we go. So it says exactly. So if the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea are completely shut down, global oil trade takes a huge hit. And we already see the global oil trade took a huge hit. Today I think it closed at the WTI closed at like 108. The market's open in Japan. What time? Yeah, 9:30. Oh, let's see where it's at right now. What do you mean? It's already taking a huge hit. Where's it at right now? 109. 109. WTI. Let's look at the Brent, which is the international oil price, pretty much. 117. And it closed up here though. Look where it closed at. 118. Sheesh. Yeah, not looking good, my friend. Your gas is fill up your tanks before Monday. That's all I got to say. Let's go back to this. We'll finish off on this. Oh, come on, bro. So let's keep going. It says, so global oil trade takes a huge hit, which I just showed you that it's taking a huge hit. That would mean a sharp rise in oil prices. I just showed you the prices are rising and rising, and countries would scramble to secure energy. Yeah, so Trump's over here toting about, oh, we selling oil to these other countries. That's gonna have to stop soon because we can't sell all of our oil. You can't deplete all of our oil reserves. And remember, Biden already did that. So I don't know what they talking about selling oil. There's already rations around the world right now because of this oil. Bro, this oil shock, really. It says, if at the same time the petrodollar system weakens because countries stop using the dollar for oil, which we've already seen happening because of what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, then the US dollar loses a huge part of its global power. In that panic, if people and businesses lose faith in the dollar, the demand for a new digital system, like one backed by Ripple, could skyrocket. I didn't say that. That's what ChatGPT said. So in this scenario, the Clarity Act and a stable digital dollar could become a lifeline, giving people a new trusted system as the old order crumbles. New world order. So this is the next question I ask you here. Let's add into this hypothetical scenario, because if not, ChatGPT is gonna bullshit you. So you gotta say hypothetical, theoretical, shit like that, right? Let's add into this. This is what I said. Let's add into this hypothetical scenario the PACE Act, which I've shown you already, the Payments Access and Consumer Efficiency Act. Okay, so I showed you that on this different chat. This is a different email address that I'm using for the ChatGPT than I showed you on the computer. This one's on the tablet, but different accounts. I wanted to see what it would say separately, right? So it says, the Payments Access and Consumer Efficiency Act, if passed, would let non-bank payments, would let non-bank payment firms directly connect to major U.S. payment systems like FedWire or ACH, which you use that. ACH, you use that through your banks, right? If you want to do a wire or something like that, that's ACH, right? In other words, it says, as long as they meet strict regulatory standards, this would lower payment costs and speed up transactions, and that's what Iran's looking for, right? In the Strait of Hormuz, if you want to pay for the oil. It says this would lower the payments, and we know, and again, this is why they're talking about crypto and blockchain technology, because it's quicker. The old system, the legacy banking system is over. The petrodollar is done. So it says this would lower payment costs and speed up transactions, though it would also require heavy oversight and only larger firms would qualify. The bill is still proposed, so its final impact and timeline are still uncertain. And again, Ripple's already been qualified, right? They went through a whole lawsuit. I think it was 2022, something like that. They went through a whole lawsuit. They're the only company on the planet, all right, that is able to step in this crisis that the world's going through right now. Really. And what are they using? What technology is Ripple using? So I said, so how exactly so how exactly would that affect what we just spoke about concerning Ripple? Good point. That's what Chat said. So if the Payments or the PACE Act passes, it would open up traditional payment networks to non-bank firms, meaning Ripple and other digital payment providers. Everything's going digital, man. That's why you're gonna. So if the institutions, the banks, the countries are about to enter this digital payment provider system, then the people are gonna have to get to it. And we know through biblical prophecy that the people are going to get into it eventually or ultimately through the mark of the beast. So it says, meaning Ripple and other digital payment providers could get direct access to those systems. As a result, Ripple's tech could integrate more smoothly with the traditional banking world, faster cross-border payments, and that's literally what XRP Ledger was built for. XRP was built for this exact scenario we're witnessing that's taking place on the earth, and they literally created the solution before the problem existed. That's crazy. It says faster cross-border payments, instant settlement with the Fed, and broader trust because it's tied to these official rails. In a crisis like when oil trade and the dollar system are shaky, and that's what I just showed you. This shit is it's moving. It says this could give Ripple an edge, offering a more resilient. And remember, the CEO of Ripple, he be at the White House rubbing elbows with your boy. Watch this. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? There you go. There you go. Who's that? Eh? Who's that? This is you know who this clown is in the middle. This is the CEO of Ripple. Ripple CEO dines with Trump. Is the XRP come on, bro. And the CLO Stuart Alderoty. Well, this is probably a year or two ago. Let's see. Oh, 20. Yep, that was last year. Mika. That's what's going on in Europe. Mika. You know about Mika? Well, let's look into it real quick. Because this is happening globally. This ain't just in America. Like, this is just in America. Mika. Hold on. You gotta be specific sometime. Mika EU. The Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation is the comprehensive EU framework, the beast, that sets uniform rules for crypto assets, issuers, and service providers across all member states. Adopted to enhance consumer protection, market integrity, and financial stability, it has been fully applicable since December 2024, requiring crypto firms to obtain authorization to operate. So they're moving forward, and guess what? Ripple got the green light by Mika. They're already moving. The world has already changed, and people haven't realized it yet. You will soon, though. So let's go back to this chat on the tablet. Where were we? Okay, right here. So this is okay. It says Okay, as a result, Ripple's tech could integrate more smoothly with the traditional banking world, faster cross-border payments, instant settlement with the Federal Reserve, right? Or they could just be replaced with them, honestly, at this point. And broader, because Trump, he's pushing back against the banks because of the Clarity Act, and he's pushing back against the Federal Reserve because of Jerome Powell. And now the one that the new Fed chair, he said, I ain't gonna do what Trump want me to do. Oh, that gives him a reason to get rid of you motherfuckers. They don't need the Federal Reserve no more. All they need is new federal. They need the new system, right? Don't we want to be the federal? What do you say? The crypto capital of the world? That ain't in the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve is gonna have to get with it or get getting. So I'm just speculating. I'm just seeing I'm just reporting what Trump's saying, right? I'm not. I'm just reporting the news. I ain't making the news, and I'm tying it to biblical prophecy. So let me finish that off. It says, rather, it would be a complementary system, Slovakia, especially for cross border trade. But even then, Ripple wouldn't fully replace the Fed. Yeah, because they're already integrated in Fed now. They don't need to replace anything. They're already in part of it, right? You infest the system from within, as they say. Ripple wouldn't fully replace the Fed. Rather, it would be a complementary system. He had the backbone of it. The Fed still, and again, this is going to trickle down to you at Walmart. Total control is coming. Programmable money is coming. This is what I'm going into is what these people are using. The big institutions, the banks, the central banks, which Ripple is connected to 30 of them, if not more. It's going to trickle down to you at your Walmart. And people ain't going to be using XRP to buy nothing. People ain't going to be using Bitcoin. People going to get stable coins and CBDCs via UBI. There's a reason why what's his name? Charles Schwab, right? Said you will own nothing and be happy. This is the greatest wealth transfer ever. This is going to be the worst depression ever. There's going to be those that have and those that have not. Things are going to get very serious very fast. And I'm not exaggerating. It's already begun. It's happening. Again, the war, the cover-up, the ballroom, the golden ballroom, the assassination attempt, the Epstein files, that ain't got shit on what's coming. One day, people are going to wake up and everything is going to be different. Life as you know is going to come to a screeching halt. So this is why I present this information. Because it's already happening. This is biblical prophecy leading to the mark of the beast, the hour of temptation. So let me finish off here. It says the Fed's still the central bank of the U.S. Okay, I don't know why I said it like that. The Fed's still the central bank of the... That's chat for you, though. So you'd have a parallel world, a digital dollar, but still anchored to U.S. monetary policy. Okay. That's why they're changing the policies right now. But I asked it one more question. I said, or no. So let me finish this. It says, is what ChatGPT said. It would be a major shakeup, but not a complete replacement, at least not right away. And we're already there. It's already begun. So yeah, it wasn't overnight, but it's already begun. So this is the next question I asked it. I said, right. So if Ripple continues to integrate itself into the, there's the question. I said, right. And I was talking to it because now they got an option where you can just talk to it and have like a conversation with it. And then I just use it later for the video. I said, right. So if Ripple, the company Ripple, continues to integrate itself into the United States monetary policy, such as the Federal Reserve, and is doing it worldwide as well with different banks around the world, including multiple central banks. What? Okay, I said, what would that do to the price of XRP? Because Ripple does use the XRP ledger, so I'll skip over that. Uh, then I said, well, I'm gonna skip on down. Okay, so skip over that. Okay. Let's log in. You know what? Yeah, we ain't even gotta keep reading, man. I just proved it. This is what's going on. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, let me read this. This is because I said, but this is what XRP said. It said, or XRP. This is what ChatGPT said. It says, so it's more of a theoretical. So I asked it a question. I said, no one's ever seen this global currency system flip before. But the world has never seen XRP or Ripple before. I would say that Ripple and XRP is like changing from dial-up. Remember the AOL? Just assigning to the internet. You would have to go through that process. Remember, it was long and tedious. It was inefficient, right? When the dot-com bubble, when the internet first came out, it wasn't fast. So that's like, I dare say the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is likened unto dial-up. But XRP is going to be like 6G compared to dial-up. So this is what I asked it. No one's ever seen this global currency system flip before. But, and again, this is all, the reason I'm bringing all this out is because this is literally leading to people getting chipped. Instant transactions, 3 to 5 seconds. Instantly. But to even access that, you're going to need, you know what? It says, this is what I asked it again. No one's ever seen this global currency system flip before, but the world has never seen XRP or Ripple before. I would say that Ripple and XRP is like changing from dial-up to what we have today, internet-wise. What do you say? That's what I asked ChatGPT, and this is how it responded. Check this out. I think that's a really good analogy. I mean, the internet was a fundamental shift once it scaled. And this is where we're at. We're at the scaling of this digital currency. Because digital currency has been around since 2007, I think. Maybe even a year before. We'll say 2006 to 2008. That's how long cryptocurrency has been around. Bitcoin. Starting with Bitcoin. Which the creator of Bitcoin helped create XRP. Check that out. So, again, I mean, the internet was this is what chat said. I mean, the internet was a fundamental shift. Once it scaled, it completely changed how we work, connect, and trade. If XRP really does become that backbone for global finance, instant, cheap, cross-border settlement, then yeah, it could be a similar paradigm shift. We're at a paradigm shift. The whole world system is changing as we speak. Of course, we're still early, so it depends if it really catches on at that scale, right? But the potential for massive leap is definitely there. That's what chat said. So this is what I asked it next. I want you to scan the internet right now for articles concerning Ripple or XRP, and then come back with the actual answer for this extreme scenario where it's looking like it's already happening. Not maybe in the future, it's already happening. That's what I said. So it brought up, I got to bring this information out because it's pertinent to what's going on geopolitically because of this war that's going on in the Middle East. Again, this is all happening because they're changing the world financial system. And it's also leading to World War III, which has already begun. So it says, in response, ChatGPT said, right now, Ripple and XRP are seeing notable adoption in 2026. For example, Travelex Bank in Brazil is using Ripple, which, if you know, BRICS is part, Brazil is part of the BRICS. So if they're integrated with them, hello. For example, Travelex Bank in Brazil is using Ripple for instant cross-border settlements, and about 40% of banks in Swift's new retail payments framework are using XRP as a bridge asset. So already 40% of Swift is using it. In Asia, banks like K-Bank in South Korea, Rakuten in Japan have launched payment rails in Europe, and they didn't mention the Bank of Japan, BOJ, but we'll keep reading. And in Europe, in Tessa, San Paulo is using Ripple custody, right? Because Ripple keeps buying up other companies. It shit is crazy. It says, meanwhile, a new U.S. regulation, the PACE Act, could further open access for Ripple to central payment systems. And once the Clarity Act and the PACE Act gets passed here in America, the whole world is going to jump on board, right? If they're not already on. It says though analysts still expect. Okay, yeah, it's going to go into the price. We're not here to sell nothing. Okay, so I said, okay, now tie that information into what we talked about previously. So it says, absolutely. So based on what we just found, Ripple is already making big moves. Again, that's why, let's get that real quick. This is coming upon the whole world, man. There's Revelation chapter 3, verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which is quickly approaching. You're going to be tested when the only way to access anything in society is going to be by submitting to the devil and receiving his mark, the beast, unless you be part of the Lord's elect, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is coming globally, right? So it says, so based on, back in the chat, so based on what we just found, Ripple is already making big moves. Banks across South America, Asia, and Europe are using XRP for faster international payments, and U.S. regulations like PACE Act could further integrate Ripple into the official payment system. This means that, far from just being a future what if, Ripple is building real world utility right now. That said, even with all this progress, it's going to go into price again. So the groundwork we discussed, global adoption, integration into the financial system, it's happening. And that could set the stage for bigger moves ahead. So I said, let's forget about the price of XRP. Let's focus on the utility and the efficiency that this will provide for the world economy. And let's go from there, considering everything we've talked about so far. Yeah, forget about the prices and whatnot. Is this going to be the backbone of this new world order or not? So it says, yeah, that's a great focus. If we put aside the price and just look at the utility, Ripple's tech could be a game changer for the world economy. And remember what's going on in the Middle East. And guess who's been out there? Guess who just left OPEC? We just went into it earlier. Who left OPEC? UAE. Guess who's integrated in UAE? Let's find out. Just in case you don't know. Now you know. UAE. Oh, you know what? Let's just read the. Come on, bro. Oh boy. Nah. All of a sudden. Nope. There you go. Yeah. Now it's gonna just do what it wants, huh? All them buttons I mashed there. As of April this month, 2026. Ripple has established a major regulatory and operational footprint in the UAE, positioning Dubai as a key hub for its Middle Eastern operations. Didn't they just leave OPEC? Meaning what? They're not going to use the petrodollar no more. Real estate and asset tokenization. Ripple is involved in tokenizing real estate in Dubai with projects aiming to support the Dubai Land Department, DLD, digital title deed initiatives. As of February, over 5 million in tokenized Dubai real estate assets, stablecoin integration, diamond tokenization, remittance expansion. Wow. Bank partnership. But they left OPEC. What does that mean? They left OPEC. They don't want to use the petrodollar no more. It's over. Send the fat lady in. What they say? It's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, that bitch is hollering. She about to give up the ghost. It's over. This place is done. The U.S. dollar is done. The petrodollar is finished. So we'll finish this last thing again. It says, I'll read it from the top again in the chat. Yeah, that's a great focus. If we put aside the price and just look at the utility, Ripple's Tech, which we just went into, they're integrated in the UAE, the same people that left OPEC. Ripple's Tech could be a game changer for the world economy. By enabling instant, low-cost, cross-border payments, it would dramatically reduce friction in international trade. Small businesses could, so not only from the international trades, right? Global commerce, if you will, but even small businesses. Listen to this. Even small businesses could easily access global markets. Remittances would be faster and cheaper. And financial inclusion could expand as people who are underserved by traditional banking get easier access. This is all about getting everybody on the system. People in third world countries are going to have access to this new system because of this technology, blockchain technology. But you telling me the mark of the beast ain't coming? You're not living in reality. So in closing, it says, in short, Ripple's efficiency could streamline global finance, cutting costs, saving time, and making the system more inclusive and resilient. With that, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rechakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone who rule well, and salutation and much love to the Akim out there pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom. I'm going to walk like a ball.